There's no question that we have seen major extinctions through the history of the Earth. Many people feel that we may be starting into a sixth major extinction. In the most massive extinctions to date, we've seen a loss of as many as 90% of the species from the geological record. We've seen only a few extinctions that we can trace with any level of confidence to climate change so far, but we've only seen a small amount of the climate change we might see. And again, I want to contrast a world of ambitious mitigation where we would see more extinctions, almost certainly not the extinction of humanity, and a world of continued high emissions. In that world of continued high emissions, what really bothers me, it bothers me that in 2100 we might be looking at 4.5 to 5 C warming over pre-industrial, but what really bothers me about that is that we're still warming at 0.5 C per decade. It's really rapid warming into the indefinite future that we worry about, and we often don't think enough about the way that every time we build a new coal-fired power plant, every time somebody builds a new kerosene-powered jetliner, we're committed to decades of using that infrastructure. And what I'm worried about is that if we're still building new power plants and new kerosene-powered jetliners in 2080, we're going to cruise through the end of the century mark with that continued warming. Now, what happens if we're warming at, to defer to David's recommendation that we use English units, when we're more than 10 Fahrenheit above pre-industrial, and when we're increasing at a degree per decade? Is there a risk that humankind would become extinct as a result of this? So we have no way of even making crude estimates. I can tell you that if you look at the evidence from economists, they say some places do better, some places do worse with warming. And even if you project that out to the kind of massive amounts of warming we're talking about. On the other hand, look at the COVID-19, the coronavirus, and the way that the stock market's dropped over 3% today, and out of recognition that this is something that's getting out of hand. And compared to the climate crisis, a pretty small thing, and it shows the way that events can snowball. And so personally, I think that we're on a trajectory to solve climate change way before the extinction of the human race is a major risk. But the possibility of interacting impacts, unexpected complications, breakdown of the social fabric, and loss of key ecosystem services point to a much more challenging future unless we stay in this world of ambitious mitigation.